Hi boxing fans, this is Ben here again, and I'm here to preview the fight between Bernard the Executioner Hopkins and Roy Jones Jr. Highly anticipated fight. Maybe not. Maybe 10 years ago it would have been. I still, probably because I'm a hardcore boxing fan, I still am looking forward to this one, I have to say. But I understand what a lot of people have been saying, that it's a waste of time, it's too late, and it's just two old men in the ring. But even having said that, I'm looking forward to it. Now, my prediction, like many, is that Hopkins is going to win, and I think he's going to win by KO. Even though he doesn't have a KO win since 2004, which was against Oscar de la Hoya. That was a knockout by a body shot, if you remember. Anyway, the reason I believe that Hopkins is going to win is because I think Jones's punch resistance has gone. It's not a really difficult point of view to come to, is it? Let's face it. In his last fight, Jones got stopped in one round by Danny Green. Green hit him behind the ear with a shot, sort of took his legs away. When Jones got up, Green started flurrying, and Jones just, you were waiting for him to come back with a counter or something, and he just didn't. And so the referee stopped it. Jones later protested, and Hopkins indeed backed him up, saying it was an early stoppage. Jones said that Green was going to tire himself out, and by 3 rounds, he would have been out of it. But I don't think so. I thought it was a good stoppage. Jones looked hurt. He was blinking strangely. His face looked like the way it did when he'd been in trouble in previous fights, like in the Tarver third fight in the 11th round when Tarver nearly had him out. That was only because Tarver got so knackered himself that he couldn't finish the job in that particular fight, but he went on to win on points. But anyway, Jones still has great hand speed. You saw that in the early goings of the Green fight when he was popping out the jab. You also saw it in his 2 other fights in 2009 against Omar Shaker and Jeff Lacey. I know that's not great opposition at this stage, but you could still see he had blistering hand speed. And there's the potential, if he can keep his distance from Hopkins, that his hand speed could cause Hopkins problems. Some people thought Hopkins looked a little bit sluggish in his last fight in December against Ornelas. I don't know, I just thought he looked a little rusty in the early stages, but once he shook that rust off, I thought he looked pretty good. Jones still has power, probably more power than Hopkins, so that's something to consider. But I just think what's going to happen is Hopkins is going to get in on the inside. Jones hates it when his opponent is on the inside. He can't handle it at this stage of his career. In his early days, yes, he could, but and in his peak. But now, you've seen various fighters get on the inside of him. And, I think Hopkins will probably force a stoppage, TKO. And it'll be, it's sad to see Jones in this kind of state, because he was one of my favourite fighters, still is, obviously. Hopkins is one of my favourite fighters as well, but Hopkins has aged like fine wine, as they say. At the age of 43, produced one of his best performances against Kelly Pavlik. He's a credit to the sport, a credit to athleticism, the ability to maintain yourself in great condition at such an age. Jones is in great physical condition. You look at him, he looks ripped still, but the reflexes that allowed him to avoid punches early in his career, the ability to pull away from punches, has eroded him. That's why he's getting caught so much. So yeah, I think if you're going to bet on it, bet on Hopkins. I think it's going to be a stoppage in the mid rounds. Hopkins has been talking a lot of trash in the build up to this fight. You saw at the press conferences a couple of weeks ago. He really, you can tell, this is another reason why I'm going for him to win by knockout, because you can tell how much he just wants to knock Roy Jones out. You can tell by the way he talks. It's not the casual trash talk that you hear in a lot of the build up to some fights. He really seems to have some kind of vendetta against Jones, and that might wake up the beast in Jones, but I don't think it's going to be the case. Let me know what you think about the fight and who you think is going to win. Thanks a lot.